Smooth jazz with the soul. Welcome back. Been a while. But... Sorry, Celeste, but there's nowhere left to go. Oh, wait. I think I have something. Celeste's eyes darted around the chessboard, scanning for a way to escape my attack. I could see her measuring every angle of retreat, but I've been in this endgame plenty of times out before. It was already over. Celeste, just surrender. She didn't respond. Her eyes continued to search for the exact piece she needed to move. Here, what about that? Immediately moved my knight to respond. Checkmate. Damn it! Can I get a do-over? Professionals don't get do-overs. Would you two keep it down? We're in a library. Mentor's eyes were fixed on the chessboard between Celeste and me. Soon they went straight to me. We were just taking a break. Pretty short break for the looks of it. Oh, so it's gonna be like that. I suppose it's gonna be like that. The Imperial Library was supposedly one of the largest in Rivengard. I'd never seen so many books. Plus, they felt quite at home here. There was no noise, and everyone kept to themselves. Aside from a few dirty looks from nearly everyone here, I was free to do my research in peace. Something strange had happened during Celeste's trial last week. That final moment with Pierce had awakened something new in me. I used the Eye of Horus in a way I'd never had before. I wasn't a mage. Mr. Moore and I had confirmed as much when I failed to attune to a blank spell compendium, which meant I couldn't learn arcane magic, but my ability must have been closely related to it. The Imperial Academy was a school of the most talented mages in Rivengard. The library on campus supposedly held the kingdom's entire knowledge on magic. But with all the books I'd read, I still couldn't find a single mention of anything like the Eye of Horus. There weren't many arcane spells that could affect the mind. Everything I'd read today had just confirmed that. For all its resources, the kingdom has to have seen something like this. Are they hiding that information? Even from the nobility? Are you sure you can't tell me what you're looking for? I've seen a lot when I was traveling outside Rivengard. Maybe I can help. Celeste had a point, but Mr. Moore didn't completely get along with her. I'm sure she'd have objections, and even if she didn't, my mentor had always been wary about letting people know about my Eye of Horus. It's a magical ability that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic. Its advantage of the Eye of Horus was that no one here ever knew about it. Sorry, I can't. Fine. Aren't you supposed to be researching new spells? Oh, I'm almost finished. Already? You really should challenge yourself more, McCoy. Oh, whatever, Ruby. Why don't you tell me what you're looking for? You must be researching non-arcane magic. Hello? Oh my god! We nearly jumped out of our chairs as that girl appeared next to us. I even saw Celeste's hand twitch toward her sword. The girl must have been a student at the academy, but she didn't dress like the aristocrats here. Her expression was kind, but also blank in a way. It was impossible to read. Something ethereal to her demeanor, like I was speaking with a ghost. How long had she been standing there? I hadn't noticed her at all. She looked oddly familiar, too. Yeah, didn't we see you in a dream? I should apologize, but I overheard your conversation. Oh, hello. As she approached our table, another student followed behind her. His eyes darted to each person at the table, like a rodent appraising every foot in the room. In contrast to the girl, he was as tightly wound as a violin. It looked like even the slightest sign of danger would send him scurrying away. Eris, you really shouldn't. I'm so sorry. It's fine, Wallace. Who are you two? That was incredibly rude of me. Most everyone calls me Eris Ilmater. What? Ooh, glitchy. A mysterious and almost ethereal girl. It's hard to read what she's really thinking. I'm guilty to admit it, but I always feel a sense of dread whenever I'm around her. She seems nice, however. I just need to do a better job of checking my preconceptions. This is Wallace Nightgrave. We're both students here. Hi. The student at the Rivengard Imperial Academy is extremely anxious and looks ready to flee at any moment's notice. Very secretive about the type of magic he studies. He's baby. That was a private conversation, by the way. Researching unconventional forms of magic is actually a hobby of mine. I might be able to help you with your research, Mr. Cuthbert. What makes you so sure that is what we are researching? Your protege has a bad habit of muttering to himself when he thinks. I assume that his research had something to do with magic that was unlike the arcane. I felt a piercing side glance from Mr. Moore, which she pretended not to notice. But anyways, I really appreciate your help. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Of course, I'd be happy to help. Wait, fine, I suppose it wouldn't. Oh, there's something bucky-wucky going on here. You got that too, right? Fine, I suppose it wouldn't hurt. Just be more careful, Tyrion. Alright. You are intriguing. Seriously? You're showing me the badge now? Badge? It's an attorney's runestone. We're really threading the line, aren't we? Are you gonna make a habit of showing that thing to everyone you meet? I just think it's neat! Oh? The library was full of books. I've been reading through them all morning. A table for students to sit at. I've been here with Celeste all morning. Are you two students at the Imperial Academy? I'm currently taking classes here for the Illusion program. Illusions? That's kind of magic that lets you turn invisible, right? Technically, yes, but few mages ever reach that level. It's sad to admit that I'm not able to cast that arcane spell. It's still pretty cool. What about you, Wallace? Wallace has a unique field of study. Please don't ask him about it. Oh, okay. Rumors about you two have been floating around. Really? Many recognize you for the news articles about Mr. McCoy's trial. Really? Students were surprised to see you two on the academy grounds this morning. That made sense. In some ways, this school was a cornerstone of the nobility's power. This was the last place anyone would expect us to take an interest in, much less be permitted to enter. Luckily, Mr. Moore had a lot of connections she could pull on. Really surprised that you're still in Wyvern, Mr. McCoy. Figured the Crimson Demon would be off on another violent escapade. Oh, gods. You just found out about that? Crimson Demon? Don't ask. Anyways, I'm working as Tyrion's personal mercenary now. A mercenary? I prefer the term bodyguard. Successfully indicted Pierce in her trial. That invited a lot of unwanted attention. It wasn't long before I found armed thugs suspiciously looming around my house. What happened to Flynnhart, Celeste wanted to stay closer to her mother. Steven even kept the teleportation circle from the investigation active for her. Mr. Morris saw an opportunity to hire her as my bodyguard. I did get along really well with her, after all. Nice to have someone to talk to while I was getting acquainted with being an attorney. It was also nice to have someone who could toss an armed thug with one arm. You're already resorting to presenting me things? Well, I just started. I feel like you're overthinking things. What? But you simply want to see all the unique things that I have to say. I'm sorry to disappoint you by not some script tutorial. Hey now. Please feel free to try again later, though. Alright, when you put it that way. Unconventional magic. I wonder why you're researching such a thing. I want to know that, too. I'm sorry, but I can't really say. There are many spells in the world, and the new ones are always being developed. What makes you so certain that this magic isn't arcane? The magic I'm looking into doesn't follow the conventions of arcane magic. Oh, how so? Well... I need to tread carefully. Mr. Moore's glare agreed. It was cast by someone who's not a mage. Oh, really? Like it was cast by a person. It wasn't something like artificery. I flashed an apologetic look to my mentor. That does remind me of a story. Story? Mr. Cuthbert, are you familiar with the legends about how Wyverngard was created? The story about the ancient dragons? Dragons? I knew you'd find it interesting. That expression, though. Alright. You talking about those stories told by the Church of Bahamut? Technically, there's only ever mention of one ancient dragon, Rathalion, the Scaled Lord. Supposedly the first mages were created centuries ago by him. What? I never knew that. In the year 10 BSB, Wyvengard was a small kingdom caught between two warring nations, Ixia to the east and Lumina to the west. In a way to protect themselves, the kingdom was on the brink of destruction. People prayed to Bahamut, the god of dragons, for salvation. And almost as if to answer their prayers, Rathalion, the last of the ancient dragons, appeared before them. He took pity on their plight and granted them the gift of magic. It's a weapon our greatest warriors wield without equal. Arcane magic in hand, these warriors laid devastation upon our enemies. They didn't just stop the war, joined the battle and single-handedly won it, taking large swaths of territory for themselves. Our nation protected and our power made known, these warriors went on to form the noble houses of today. What a load of nonsense. Stories nothing but religious propaganda created to prop up the noble houses. Regardless, the significance of this legend is in the Scaled Lord himself. Rathalion must have the power to become a mage on several individuals. To this day, that power can only be passed through bloodlines. Think of an arcane spell that could reproduce something like that? No, I suppose not. Oh. Rathalion had powers that aren't bound by the conventions of the arcane arts. In other words, he could use magic that was distinct from the magic of today. Please, honestly expect us to believe a story like that. Completely unrealistic. As unrealistic as a non-mage using magic? She had a point. It was the closest thing I had to a lead right now. Of course it's you lot making all this noise. Oh. One of the instructors at the academy approached us disdainfully. She looked like a woman of the aristocracy. A bit of her demeanor carried that. The stiffness of her posture to the condescending grimace on her face. She glared at each of us like we were the most disgusting thing she'd ever seen in her life. Professor Bellwether. Ma'am? Professor who teaches magic at Wyvengard's Imperial Academy. It's quite abrasive to just about everyone. In particular disdain commoners, of course. That is Professor Bellwether to you. He just called you. No, letting you wrapped into our walls will lead to nothing but trouble. You've even started associating with our malcontents. Wallace? Yes? How am I supposed to understand you when you're stuttering? Oh, I hate her. Yes, Mr. Bellwether. Straighten out your uniform and fix that awful hair. I know it's unreasonable to expect anything more from you, but try not to look like such a street urchin. Oh. Wallace shrank away from the professor. He acted like a scared and beaten animal. Celeste's fists started to clench, like she was about to toss a professor around across the room. Celeste standing there doing the Arthur fist clench. I flashed her a look. Trouble we caused would just make things worse for Eris and Wallace. As for the rest of you, your rowdy behavior is disrupting the other students. Leave. Now. Oh, please. The headmaster gave us express permission to be here. That may be, but the school board has placed the Imperial Library under my jurisdiction. I can prove anyone who disrupts the studies of our prize students. Well, that sounds like some HOA bullshit. But you have authority over the library. My apologies, Professor. We'll try to keep our volume lower. I believe I was talking to you, boy. Know your place. Tyrion, please tell me you feel threatened so I can defend you. I wanted to avoid a confrontation, but a part of me really wanted to see that. If you refuse to leave, I'll have no choice but to remove you myself. Now, if you know that I'm the most accomplished mage at this academy. Oh, God. I definitely caught hints of Linard in their thoughts every so often. You find spellcasting difficult when someone's hitting you in the face. I don't have to stand for this. I'm just on my way to speak with the headmaster. He will be hearing of this. You're going to tell on us? I'm so scared. Celeste, you're a little scary. Oh, thank you. Anyways, Wallace, you finished this week's assignment, haven't you? Would you mind entertaining Celeste while I aid Mr. Cuthbert? I don't know. Now to mention it, I could really use some help learning a new spell formula. You know your way around here, right, Wallace? Okay. Be discreet, Mr. Moore. Please do. I still have some business to take care of here. I'll leave you to it. She was about to leave, but she stared at Eris warily. Something wrong, Ruby? No, not at all. I spent the next few hours searching through the library's books with Eris. I hadn't thought to look into the ancient dragons. The library had religious texts about them in abundance. There's one problem, though. These texts read more like myths than real historical documents. Can't be helped. The Church of Bahamut has far too much influence in Wyverngard. Then history is a narrative to be embellished rather than something to be preserved. Bones of dragons are displayed in Wyverngard's museums. Without those, most would have no evidence they ever existed. Except for Rathalion, possibly. According to these legends, dragons can't die of old age. Presumably, he'd still be alive. I wouldn't be surprised. Despite everything, the kingdom includes him in our constitution. Wait, really? The savior of our kingdom. He and his kin were given an honorary position in our kingdom. The Scared Lord made Wyverngard what it is today. He was given authority that befits such a legacy. I've never heard of this before. I've memorized all of Wyverngard's laws. Practically speaking, it's never been invoked. Merely a law spun of reverent words to praise the Scared Lord and appease the church. I was so struck in my own thoughts that I'd accidentally walked face first into a bookshelf. The shelf. It slowly began to tip, and I had to catch it before it knocked over the other shelves like a set of dominoes. Several books fell out of it as I slowly set the shelf back in place. The ground with a cacophony of thuds. Some students glanced over at me, annoyed by the noise. I really hoped Bellwether wasn't still around to see that. Be quiet! I wasn't sure where the voice was coming from, but it sounded annoyed. Sorry! Be quiet! Eris giggled to herself as she watched me flounder around. Hey, you okay? You heard a loud noise and... Oh! The two of them scanned over the pile of fallen books around me. What did you do? It's not important. You let me clean this up. No, there's no need for that. Wallace, can you call over the construct? Why do you always have to make me do it? Please? Construct, I require assistance. Acknowledged. What is that? Wallace's commander with the nearby suits of armor suddenly sprang to life and marched toward us. The voice coming from it sounded like a woman's, but it lacked any emotion. I could have sworn that I'd heard its voice before. Oh, I thought those things were just decorative. This is an arcane construct. Suit of life. Suit of life? Suit of armor brought to life using artificery. Designed to carry out various tasks on campus. Oh, using the voice of Catherine Bellwether. Alright. Really? I didn't know artificery had come this far. They're still experimental. They aren't available to the public yet. As Von Sanctus is using the Academy as a testing ground for them. Construct, can you please put these books back where they belong? Acknowledged. So polite to them. You know they're just machines, right? They're really helpful. It just feels wrong to be rude to them. Construct jumped straight into its task, its metallic hands moving with a quick yet delicate precision. It wasn't too long for all the books were back exactly where they belonged. Oh, so they do whatever you tell them to? There are some limits too. Construct, tell me that I'm the fairest maiden you've ever seen. Command rejected. Oh, what? I guess they're not able to lie. Watch, Cuthbert. The construct's voice is an amalgam of pre-recorded phases. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it uses the voice of Professor Bellwether. He knew there was something wrong with it. Unfortunately, you can't make them say anything other than basic responses. The headmaster can change those settings. I've heard of artificery recording audio, but to think they could process and respond to what I'm saying. I've never seen anything like it. What is this magic GPT? You said that they're experimental, right? Maybe I can find a way to trick it into doing what I want. Advise against that. We've had several instances of students using them to play pranks. If your commands are rejected, they're still stored in the construct's logs. Weren't you researching spells with Wallace? Oh, that? I've already done. I've just been reading Death at Daggerfall. Did you know they have the unpublished manuscript of the newest book? Those books were apparently her favorite series of murder mysteries. She'd been recommending them to me for the entire week. Recommending, I mean, she'd been leaving those books around my house. At one point, she'd somehow stuck them into Mr. Moore's office. Really got an earful from my mentor about that one. There's no possible way you've already done learning those new spells. You've only been here for a few hours. Yeah? Do you want to bet? Sure. Show me your spell compendium. What? No! Didn't get you any lies with the Eye of Horus. Was she really telling the truth? Never actually knew the process for loading new spells. Just knew that it involved becoming familiar with unique spell formulas. I was fidgeting a lot when we were reading together this morning. Basically forced me into taking a break to play chess with her. You were in the fiction section. Did you get a chance to read Wraithbound? Yes, again. It's a great series, Celeste. A series I've ever read. But even after nearly a century, these books had aged like fine wine. Look, Tyrion, I'm sorry, but I just can't get into it. The whole thing just feels so hammy and unrealistic. Come on, it's a classic story of good versus evil. Gordon Bloomville's a literary genius. I'm ready to start leaving my copies of Wraithbound in the McCoy Tavern. Look, I'm just not into the fantasy genre. Good. So terrible anyways. Ah! What? Let's get back to work. Let's go, Celeste. Okay. Let's keep going, Eris. I had no intentions of letting Celeste get ahead of me. Read more and more about the ancient dragons. Anything I could get my hands on, historical accounts, religious texts, even folk tales. Finding the 12 embellished story would drop out a dragon fighting a knight, I was starting to lose hope. This most recent story was the worst. Read like the fantasy novels I usually read, but even I had a limit. This one I felt like one of those arcane constructs, probably reading out the words of yet another myth to myself. The dragon awoke with a rumble, hot steam pouring from its mouth. Spotted and kind, drawing his steel and charging forward. The dragon had his own weapon. He used his Eye of Bahamut to... Dull rhythmic dictation broke when I read that line. I straightened out in my chair and inspected each subsequent line carefully. He used his Eye of Bahamut to call upon the power of radiance that pierced through the knight's soul. Not a single thought was concealed from his gaze. The knight's thoughts, even his emotions, were laid bare before the scaled giant. The description sounded eerily familiar. I had named my ability the Eye of Horus when I was a child. At the time I was just copying one of my childhood friends. Was I actually using this Eye of Bahamut? Unless the Eye of Horus fits better. Not the Eye of Bahamut. Took out of my seat again. Why don't you always sneak up on me like that? Do you know about this Eye of Bahamut? The first time I've seen it mentioned. Didn't say that the Eye of Bahamut holds the power to mimic the radiance of the celestial gods. The celestial gods? Anything like the Scaled Lord? Not quite. I doubt you'll find anything about them here. Eye of Bahamut mimics the radiance of the gods. Does that mean the dragon in this story is mimicking magic related to these celestials? Unfortunately, knowledge of them is quite scarce in Wyvern. Even mentioning the celestials could very well tie a noose around your neck. Didn't possess any text that even whisper the names. Yeah, certainly. Most recent winners writing the narrative and all that. I wonder if I couldn't find any information here. Is this whole morning a colossal waste of time? No, this is still a lead. I couldn't read about the celestial gods here. I just have to look somewhere else. Mr. Moore had a lot of connections. I'm not sure if she'd condone the risk of buying illegal books, though. Suddenly, a low-pitched thrum thundered across the room. It was unnaturally loud. It's been produced by some sort of magic. What? Oh, what is that? You messing around with the arcane constructs? What? No! I mean, only a little. Expect that to trip anything. Finally stopped. Eris, wasn't that the lockdown? Yes, I believe so. The lockdown? The Academy is outfitted with a large artificery system. State of emergency will erect magical barriers throughout the building. Oh dear. A state of emergency? Should we be worried? Don't worry. Lockdown is designed to keep everyone sequestered. We're safe from most threats as long as those barriers stay up. Mr. Moore, isn't she still on campus? I'm terribly sorry. A disembodied voice cut the anxious murmurs of the students in the library. Students and faculty, please remain calm. There's been an attack in one of the lecture halls. What? Please stay where you are and wait for the city watch to arrive. We have to get out of here. What? Tyrion, no! That's the last thing we should do. I ran towards the library entrance. My body crashed into the door. It didn't budge at all. Just pushed and pulled at the handle, trying to wrench the door open. Tyrion, stop that. But, Mr. Mora! But you're worried about her, but it's not safe out there. The best thing we can do right now is stay here and wait until the lockdown is over. I knew she was right, but I couldn't just stand here and do nothing. When kicking the door handle, my foot was repelled by the low hum of magical energy. It didn't move at all. Seth's hand rested on the hilt of her sword. Her eyes slowly scanned our surroundings. The students watched her fearfully. No one dared to come near us. Celeste, I think we'd calm down. Said the attack was the lecture halls. She answered him without breaking her glare. I don't know what's happening, and it's my job to keep Tyrion safe. She also called me down, okay? It's easy to forget something. She really was vigilant when it counted. She can lock in. Dang, she is scary when she locks in. She is more than capable of locking in. What? Students and faculty, thank you for your patience. Knights have secured the building. Lockdown has been lifted. Or please remain in the building until... Barely finished with his announcement of I was out the door. Tyrion! Hey, don't go off on your own! Desperately ran through the academy hallways. No. Mr. Mora! Mr. Moore, where are you? Sweating blindly, my breath was haggard, my heart was racing. Dread was creeping inside me with each passing moment. I should even know where I was going. Cuthbert! What's wrong? Why are you shouting? Mr. Mora! You okay? You're breathing. Leaf washed away my anxiety. I just embraced my mentor tightly. I always demanded I kept a professional distance from her, but despite myself, I was just relieved she was safe. Tyrion, there you are. And you're crying. Cuthbert, you're hurting me. Sorry. Let go of her and tried to stifle my tears. You heard the announcement. Are you okay, Ruby? I am, but... Mr. Moore glanced at Wallace. She slowly put herself between us. For now, I think we should head to the foyer. We arrived at the foyer. The academy was swarmed with a legion of familiar knights. Position? Don't tell me. Mentioned that there was an attack on campus. They must have used magic. Oi, you there! As we came into the foyer, the commander marched toward us. His attention wasn't focused on Celeste this time. Huh? Wallace Nightgrave, the authority of the Wyvern Guard crowd, I'm placing you under arrest. Before Wallace could react, Orem grabbed him by the wrist and began dragging him away. Hey, what are you doing? You three, what the hell are you doing here? You said he was under arrest? On what charges? Brought to first-degree murder. This damn mage killed Captain Bellwether. What? Celeste grabbed the commander's arm and wrenched him off Wallace. Orem showed no resistance. They remembering what happened during her arrest last week. Like hell you're arresting him. He's with us in the library the entire morning. There's no way he could have murdered her. Step aside, Celeste. But... No, Mr. Moore is right. Wallace is a suspect who can't legally stop the Inquisition from arresting him. Best for you to go with them, Wallace. I'm sure we can get this all sorted out. Only watch as the Inquisition dragged him away. My apologies. I'm going to accompany him. Do you believe this? They're just gonna let you? You arrested him even though he was in a different room. The school is filled with plenty of mages. There has to be a longer list of suspects. What do you do now? Let's head to the lecture halls. where the murder must have taken place. Cuthbert? Yes? He has accepted you as his attorney. I don't even know if you'll be working this case. I know that he's innocent. She looked like she was about to rip Mandy, but she just let out a defeated sigh. Just remember that being an attorney is your job. Law firm isn't a charity. If you overextend yourself, I'm not gonna pay your rent for you. Right. I have another appointment in this city. Can you two take it from here? Yes, of course. Right. Let's go, Celeste. Oh, I've been waiting for our first case. Celeste Wallace was just arrested. Be respectful. Right, sorry. I was reluctant to admit that I was just as excited as she was. Let's do it. A few hours had passed since Wallace was arrested. Celeste and I were with him during the lockdown. The Inquisition took our statements. The more they questioned me, the more I could tell that they were looking for gaps in my testimony. I need to do more if you wanted to establish an alibi for Wallace. Definitely know how to waste a lot of time. They know who we are now. We'll have to expect more interference from them in the future. Wait, Tyrion? Yeah? Are you okay? Sorry for stopping you before. I know you were just worried about Ruby. No, you were completely right. I was just being emotional. You really care about her, don't you? She's done a lot for me. If it weren't for her, I would have grown up on the streets. Oh, really? It's just... What is it? Don't you think the way she treats you is a bit cold sometimes? Only for my benefit. I need to be the best attorney I can be if I want to acquit my clients. Still, she's your guardian, isn't she? She'd be nicer to you. She's never been good at expressing emotions. I think something may have happened in the past, but I've never tried to pry. I know for a fact that she cares for me. I've seen it many times. Yeah, I guess my dad was the same way. I guess people show love in different ways. I know you didn't get the best first impression of her, but I hope you can get along with her. I'll try. But only because I really like this job. Really? Yeah! You're the best client I've ever had, Tyrion. I see. That's good to hear. Oh, just saying that. I'm sure she told every one of her clients the same thing. With the same glimmer in her expression. Anyways, we should get to work. Right. We said that a bunch of knights were heading to Lecture Hall 2B. Sounds like a good place to start. Was Celeste thing? Ooh. A man with some sort of creature on his arm. Dr. Delbert Taforis, a mage, historian, archaeologist, anthropologist, and botanist. He's known for his work in studying the history of the ancient dragons. His work, great leaps are made in the study and development of the school of evocation. His arm is one of the last pseudo-dragons, which are now extinct. Huh. Dr. Paul Rorol, also known as the Archaeologist of the North, and he was studying and exploring the mountainous region of Chardenwald. One of the many layers of the scaled blood. He was honored by both the Church and the Avant-Garde Historical Society for his impressive discovery. Well, statue of some sort of scientist. Gillian Chemnitz, inventor of early artificer. Artificer is really impressive, isn't it? It's anyone who uses magic without having noble blood. Although the expenses of owning artificery presented their own barrier. The statue's kind of weird, though. It looks like he doesn't even want to be here. Wallace is okay. The Inquisition isn't exactly great at treating its prisoners well. As an attorney, there was only so much I could do. If I could acquit Wallace, he'd be stuck in that dungeon. Let's head to Lecture Hall 2B. We need to figure out what happened. Where should we go next? First thing we need to do is find out exactly what happened. Mr. Moore said that the body was found in Lecture Hall 2B. Let's start there. Okay. My attorney's runestone's Celeste. It proves I'm a certified attorney. Yeah, you've shown this thing to me before. It's fitted with artificery. Used to take pictures of evidence at crime scenes. Yes, it's very cool, Tyrion. Said it again. What do you think about this, Celeste? Sorry, Tyrion. Oh, okay. I hope Eris is handling this well. Her friend was falsely accused of murder. Really? She doesn't seem that bothered. People who show the least emotion tend to feel it the most strongly. I know that better than anyone. And what's up with her anyways? Kind of fun seeing you work through everything. Yeah, there's something satisfying about it. So glad I got this job. It's so much less stressful than being a mercenary. Really? Try to stop people from breaking into my house every night. Oh, that's nothing. But as a mercenary, I had to fight hordes of people and monsters at once. 2 assassins are nothing. The scariest part was that I wasn't sure if she was exaggerating. Oh. Same conversation for that. Say there. We really don't know that much about Wallace, do we? We know that he had a solid alibi for the murder. It's the way that he killed Bellwether. You believe in your clients, don't you? Of course. How can I expect the courts to believe in his innocence if I don't? I'm glad you're confident, but what would you do if you found out your client was guilty? You'd never take on a client like that. I have Horace was pretty good for vetting people. Is that really... What? Nothing. It's not really my place to say anything. Alright. F to D to B. Oi, stop right there. Tried to enter the class when the Inquisition Knight stepped between us and the door. Tried to make himself look bigger, but I could see him falter when he recognized Celeste. Meh. I'm a defense attorney. We have a right to investigate the crime scene. Yeah? Well, I've heard the kid doesn't have an attorney yet. Right, I still need to talk to Wallace about that. And Wallace had another attorney in mind, but I have less jurisdiction until he made it official. Oh, hi. It's quite all right. Let them in. Lady Steelwind. Have I told you about calling me that? Work under me, you will address me as Prosecutor Steelwind. Yes, Prosecutor Steelwind. What's that smell? As we entered the classroom, a sour and rancid odor blew over us. I was beginning to tear up. I had to take a handkerchief from my pocket to cover my nose. Don't worry, you'll eventually get used to it. What have you been doing here, Steelwind? I'm here to coordinate the investigation. Looked around the room. There wasn't a single Inquisition Knight to be found. It was only her. Was she investigating the crime scene by herself? Due to the circumstances, I've decided to handle this case personally. Since we've got you here, could we ask you some questions about what happened? Can I assume that you're planning to defend this case? Make you my opponent. What do I have to gain from helping you? Right. However, I would be willing to answer your questions. Only if you answer some of mine as well. Oh. Okay. Do you want to ask us about Wallace's alibi? Fair enough. Ah, an attorney's runestone. I have one of those myself. They're useful, aren't they? Note-taking and picture function saves so much time doing investigations. They're really a marvel of artificery. You'll see a lot of these among the nobility. Why would nobles need to store evidence? They have other uses, Mr. Cuthbert. Like blackmail. Oh, Tyrion, I almost forgot. Let me show you one of the new spells I learned.
Arcane.
Ooh! What was that? That's the incantation for the detect magic spell. Detect magic. Wait, does that mean... Yep. I can see magical traces while we're examining crime scenes. Oh, that's what you wanted to surprise us with. Sick. Musician. Dr. Nicholas Gosseau, inventor of the Arcane engine. His work revolutionized trade and travel across the seas. Judging's assistants purely based on their merit. As he conducted research with the Imperial Academy, he was known to compose symphonies in his free time. Man of many talents. Oh, they have books here too! These appear to be textbooks about alchemy. Oh, lame. There's also a window. I feel like I'd just stare outside all day if I had to sit in this place. Why do they have to sit here, anyways? The lectures here last for an hour at minimum. An hour? No wonder all the nobles are such psychopaths. Present company excluded, I hope. Yeah, you're not that bad, are you? How have you learned so many spells if you're so distractible? I don't know. I just look at the spell formula and do it. I see. Is that not normal? No. Be with the students sit during lectures. Oh, I can't imagine sitting in one place all day. You never attended a school before? Do you seriously think a dump like Cornhaven has standardized education? And from books that I should steal one before finishing that thought. I learned from books that I appropriated from some traveling merchants. What about you? I attended public school when I was younger. Mr. Moore handled much of my education herself. This chalk outlined what the professor's body was. It that most of this blood came from her abdomen. Where the fatal wound was? A lot of blood in this puddle. There's no trail leading to it. There aren't any magical traces anywhere else in the room. But the murderer used magic to clean it. Does that mean that the murderer attacked her in this room? Maybe. It's hard to say for certain.
Arcanum!
What's wrong? The trace of necromancy in Bellwether's blood. Necromancy? Isn't necromancy the type of magic that creates zombies? She's not just gonna get up and walk away, right? I'm honestly not sure. The Inquisition is on edge about that as well. How does that implicate Wallace? Oh, we didn't tell you. Wallace Nightgrave is a necromancer. Oh! What? I believe that he drained her life force using a spell called Necrotic Blight. Sick! Spells like that tend to interfere with a divination spell we used to identify the cause of death. However, there were no visible wounds. Only a necromancy spell could have killed her. You ever copy the autopsy report? Of course. It's incomplete because of the aforementioned reasons. Well, that's interesting. Necromancy and illusion magic. They're likely caused by necromancy magic. Huh. Whole ordeal has put everyone on edge. It's the first case of necrotic homicide we've had in nearly a century. Believe it. I only read about necromancy in fantasy novels. Never imagined that I'd end up defending a necromancer. What you're saying is true. Weren't there plenty of other mages who could use necromancy? This is an academy for mages, after all. No. The knowledge required to learn necromancy is heavily controlled. Dr. Nightgrave already violated several laws simply by learning these spells. I'm baffled as to how we even got access to that knowledge in the first place. Right. Necromancy sounded like some dark magic, even by the nobility standards. I'd be terrified to know why anyone would want to learn that type of magic. The fact that he was the only noble student who knew these spells makes him our only suspect. I seldom caught thoughts for stealing. Usually only appeared when someone brought up her father. She's usually very composed. I still didn't see a hint of that uneasiness in her posture. Yeah, no emotional surge, but still. I could only see the thoughts when a target was stressed or excited. Something about this case must have been rattling her. Nothing about telling us, Steelwind. I couldn't catch any more thoughts from her. Miss McCoy, it's my understanding that you were adopted. Would you happen to know who your biological parents are? Celeste tensed and shifted out of control. Kind of personal, isn't it? You agreed to answer my questions. I did, but I didn't think you meant... It's fine, Tyrion. It's for Wallace. Took a breath. It's always been a sore subject for her. I don't know who my birth parents are. I never tried looking for them. I see. If I recall correctly, your spell compendium only contained one spell. Who should learn Mage Blade in the first place? I bought a scroll from a merchant a few years ago. It had Mage Blade spell formula on it. Surely someone taught you how to cast it. No, I'm self-taught. Steelman's eyes narrowed. She's being unusually interrogative about this. You can't teach yourself magic, Miss McCoy. That's not possible. Well, I did. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Hey, I got a system, okay? I learned a few new spells today. I'm sorry, spells? As in plural? Yeah. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at this. How long did it take you to learn these spells? A few hours, I think. Huh. I see. I think that's all I need to ask you for now. Thank you, Miss McCoy. Okay? Steven looked like she was deep in thought. Why was she so interested in Celeste's magic? What's that smell? Oh, that smell is driving me crazy. What is that? There was a bit of an accident during an alchemy lecture a few days ago. The instructor misread the instructions for an experiment. The result, he accidentally produced this rancid-smelling vapor. Vapor? It's not toxic, is it? I wouldn't be standing here if it were. It's just extremely unpleasant to the senses. Temporarily closed this lecture hall until they could get rid of that smell. Now, Steven actually used a similar concoction during the Great Luminite War. See? This is why I stick to transmutation magic. Miss McCoy, alchemy is a branch of transmutation. What? I've been making potions this entire time. You know what happened here, Steelman? City Watch received a call from the Academy. They put an attack on campus grounds and put the entire building on lockdown. City Watch set up a perimeter around the building while they waited for the system to deactivate. They had to wait? Why did the Academy just deactivate the system manually? I'm not sure about the specifics, but supposedly the lockdown can't be shut down once it's triggered. It's a safety mechanism. To ask one of the Academy's admins, if you want to know more. From what I've heard, you two were also present during the lockdown. Did either of you see anything suspicious? No. I actually met the professor that morning. He was obviously still alive then. I see. It does match with the accounts of our other witnesses. She's gone to a meeting with the headmaster afterwards. She had a meeting with the headmaster? How long did this go on for? 12 to 1. An hour before her death. The headmaster met with Bellwether. He might have known where she went after the meeting. Do you happen to have a map of the academy? I do. I'll transfer it to your runestone. What is it? There's only one direct path from the headmaster's office to this lecture hall. How did she even enter the lecture hall in the first place? Did she die here? Or was she murdered somewhere else? Where was the body discovered? Remember that the kitchen staff spotted her body inside this classroom. They reported the situation to the campus admin while they attempted to save her life. It was too late. The professor had already passed away long before any healers arrived. Those two staff members, who were they? Valentina and Valerie Yanis, their sisters. How were they holding up? Imagine they'd be rattled after discovering the body of their co-worker. From what Orem said, they were extremely tense during questioning, but I suppose that's to be expected. told me that they couldn't sit still. And it's difficult to take their statements because of that. They couldn't sit still? So I was making an excuse for his incompetence. What does that mean? I've already told the Inquisition with this, but Wallace was with us the entire time. He has a perfect alibi. Strong, maybe, but his alibi is far from perfect. Spokoi herself told us that. It's a small time period where she wasn't with him. What? Right. It was after we came to check on you when you knocked over that shelf. We got separated. I kind of got lost in the fiction section. Oh boy. She found an early release copy of Death's at Daggerfall. Binge read it for over an hour. Just rat me out, Tim. He's my boss. Nonsense. They're well-written books. No one would fault you for that. Oh no. I mean, I might fault her for that. Wait, you read them too? Yes, but what you think about the ending? The ending of The Uncrowned? Celeste? I found the cliffhanger to be needlessly unsatisfying, stringing the readers along to sell more copies of the sequel. Oh, come on! Anticipation just makes each new book that much more fulfilling. Celeste, I eat brunch with the author occasionally. Fame has clearly gotten into her head. She's clearly just dragging her feet to raise profits. You eat brunch with Altherius Duskweaver? I cleared my throat. Everyone, we are all supposed to be working right now. Such a killjoy sometimes. No, he's right. I don't know what got into me. After the case is over, I'm tagging along for brunch with you. What? Hey, try to convict me for murdering my dad. You owe me, Steelwind. Ha! I suppose you have a point. Made from a noble house. Must have gotten to school here. Did you know Catherine Bellwether while you were here? I unfortunately did. I constantly clashed with her over her treatment of the commoners here. One of my biggest regrets is failing to remove her from her position before I graduated. Woof. She was a friend of House Vega. There wasn't much I could do about that. It sounded like many people didn't get along with the Professor. I would say more, but it's all in the past, and I'm not one to speak ill of the dead. Working with the headmaster. I looked around the dungeons, but I couldn't see Wallace in any of the cells. Inquisition is probably still questioning him. We should come back later.
Repario Arcanum. Repario Arcanum.
May as well try it. Check out this file. I followed the map that Steelwind gave us, arriving at the headmaster's office. Oh, hello there. Wasn't expecting guests today. The elderly man rose to greet us, his hand trembling as he walked toward us with the support of his cane. His face was wrinkled, but his eyes were sharp. His expression held the wisdom of a life long lived. I recognized his voice. He was the one who made those announcements during the lockdown. Sorry for coming unannounced. Must be a Miss Theodore Redmond. I'm the headmaster of the Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. Close to Wallace and facilitated his studies in necromancy. That's a hell of a thing to just drop on us like that. Judging from your appearance, you must be the protege of Ruby tomorrow. Put right with a pleasure. But how'd you get here? They must be here to investigate the murder. Wait, Eris? Thought you went to see Wallace. Unfortunately, the Inquisition is questioning him right now. Not allowing visitors. Must be so scared right now. He's okay. Right, she had that same experience not too long ago. Oh, can't believe this is happening. Interesting. Oh, hot guy. I knew someone. It's like some sort of professor. Professor Lucas Gilbert was the instructor here many decades ago. He's quite the accomplished scholar, and well beloved by the students here. Yet this was all despite his lack of magical ability. He studied magic without actually being able to use it? Yes, it was quite remarkable. Unfortunately, we lost him to illness very early in his career. He mage. He doesn't look quite. He doesn't quite look like a noble. Oh, that's Jason Steelwind, one of the chosen mages of the Scaled Lord. Wait, Steelwind, as in? Yes, he's the earliest recorded ancestor of House Steelwind. Legends say that the Scaled Lord bestowed his power upon him, his allies, to create the first mages. Whoa, it's hard to even tell that he and the prosecutor belong to the same bloodline. They have an affinity for blue? As with all the noble houses, House Steelwind had quite humble beginnings. If only they'd remember where they came from. A small table for guests. Is that wine? No, actually, it's just apple juice. Most of my guests are students, after all. Fair enough. It's a window with a view of the garden. Esther has a nice view from up here. Fireplace with the burning wood. Pretty cozy.
Repario Arcanum.
Ah, a runestone. You have one too. One specifically created for attorneys. Lets me take pictures of evidence in crime scenes. Never really understood the appeal of those contraptions. Really? They're really convenient. I just could never wrap my head around it. Use them. They're not for me. Fair enough. Anyways. This is terrible. I think that one of my prized students would be accused of murder. I heard your voice on the intercom when the lockdown happened. Are you the one who triggered it? Yes, I activated it when I received the call from Valentina. She reported that Pleth's bellwether was collapsed and unresponsive. Valentina. How does the lockdown system work? It's an artificery network that's built into the walls of the entire academy. In the event of an emergency, I can activate it using this stone. Headmaster pulled out a glowing stone from his desk. Magical panic button, nice. Feel a hum of magical energy emanating from it. Once activated, this system creates magical barriers throughout the building, designed to contain and protect each room in the building. Powerful mage breach any of those barriers? I doubt it. The barriers can withstand a great amount of force, even block mages from teleporting through them. Once activated, even I can turn it off for an hour.
Repario Arcanum.
Alright, I did that already. My apologies. I've loaded out my ears, but I can't say much about that. Fair enough. What can you tell me about Wallace? Earlier you said that he was one of your prized students. I also heard that he's a necromancer. Just need to understand if that's really true. You are correct. Young Wallace is a necromancer. What? But why would he study something like that? Necromancy is probably one of the most dangerous and most scrutinized schools of magic. It has been tainted by myths of dark wizards raising armies of the undead. However, it doesn't just control the forces of death, it can also control the forces of life. Forces of life? The truth is that healing magic is also classified as necromancy. Most healers don't care to admit it because of the stigma it has, but that's why Wallace is studying it. He wishes to become a doctor. Well, that's noble. There are plenty of mages who know healing magic. Why is Wallace being singled out? For years, he's been studying necromancy beyond the standard healing spells. He believes that high-level necromancy could revolutionize modern medicine. Fortunately, many among the faculty don't see it that way. Wallace doesn't hail from any of those noble houses. He was abandoned by his parents at an orphanage, presumably to avoid a scandal. It's like me. For real. Many of the faculty fear that he'll be using his knowledge to raise armies of undead, just like the necromancers of fiction. What are we unpacking here, chat? It's the double standard of classism again. God damn it. The Imperial Academy isn't even permitted to teach its students beyond basic healing magic. Why did you allow him to study it? Everything that has happened to him, I made an exception, even if I was breaking the law. What happened to him? I'm at liberty to say more. Interesting. If you plan on defending Wallace, will you need a spell compendium? Yes. Having a client's compendium is instrumental to acquitting him. He may find that a bit difficult. After a certain incident, he destroyed his compendium. What? Why would he do that? Doesn't he need it to cast his magic? A spell compendium is a device we use to keep track of what spells we can cast. It's convenient for remembering the formulas and incantations of my spells. It's not actually required to use magic. I thought of getting rid of mine a long time ago, but they're really expensive. Luckily, I have an unattuned spell compendium right here. I'm more than happy to give it to you if it helps Wallace. Oh, thanks. Wallace just needs to maintain physical contact with it for 10 minutes. That compendium will attune to his magic and update in real... That's handy. Make sure that you don't let another mage like Celeste hold it. Once it attunes to a mage, no one else can use it. Wait, then how did... Whoa! There's something not... There is something up with her. Ah, wonderful. I just hope that you can persuade Wallace to use it. What does it look like in the test log? Nope, it just straight up overwrites it in the text log. That's cool. It's purple. This is fucky wucky in all the best ways. Why is that the technical term I've turned out today? I don't know. You're telling about Captain Bellwether. Nah. Fair enough. Wow, that was a whole mess of emotions. To be told, she was rather unpleasant to work with. Think of any enemies she might have had? Might as well list anyone who didn't hail from the four pillar families. Eris. I stick to beat around the bush with these types of things. As I'm sure you saw this morning, Asphalt is probably less abrasive than her personality. Many people in this school did not care for her. Maybe she wasn't the nicest person, but would that really be enough to motivate someone to murder her? She'd often target and harass students, especially those who were commoners. She even made a habit of expelling those students for the smallest infractions. Like she was clearly browbeating Wallace. Commoner's magic can be our ticket out of poverty. I can't imagine how it would feel to have that opportunity unfairly ripped away from you. It was akin to a grim reaper, hanging over the student body, ready to steal away their futures. Human psyche can only be pushed so far. What about her relationship with the faculty? In some cases it was worse than it was with the students. She'd often treat the staff like her personal servants. Received many complaints from them about her behavior, and I was powerless to stop her. But how? I thought you were the headmaster. She's a close friend from the Duke of Finance. She's used her position to curry favor with the noble houses over the years. As you can imagine, the Academy's board is controlled by the nobility. If I tried to remove her, there would be dire consequences. Ah. Sick. They tried a meeting scheduled with Professor Bellwether this morning. What time was that? When did the meeting end? Our meeting was scheduled for noon. We arrived on time, and our meeting lasted until 1 p.m. Anything seem off about her to you? No, she seemed to be her usual self. Don't mind me asking, what was the purpose of your meeting? I to discuss routine administrative matters. Despite our personal disagreements, we need to stay civil when discussing professional affairs. But to be perfectly honest, it did always feel like I was treading on eggshells when speaking to her. But you were her superior, weren't you? Didn't she respect your authority? We had many arguments about how I was managing the Imperial Academy, and she was very vocal about her distaste for the students accepted through my scholarship program. She was difficult, to say the least. Yeah, fair enough. Hello? Is anyone here? You right there? Sorry, but the cafeteria is closed right now. Actually, we're here to investigate what happened to Captain Bellwether. Maybe the two members of the kitchen staff discovered the body. Foster tensed at the mention of Bellwether. Oh, that would be me. Valentina. Cute. Alongside her sister Valerie. She's beyond edge due to Bellwether's murder. It's been a while since we saw the intro to this case, so I'm blanking on which one is the good cook and which one is the, struggle bus. I think it was... She was the head chef of the kitchen? She was close to my age. You knew how picky nobles were. I'd imagine that their children would be far worse. For cooking to the standards, that was impressive in and of itself. What's your sister? You know where she is right now? I have to get her statement, too. Oh, she's somewhere else on campus right now. Here were those nights. We already told them everything we know. Actually, we're investigating separately from them. I want to ask you some questions about what you saw. Sure. What was that just now? Huh. I want to take a look around the kitchen, but Valentina seemed a little anxious. Super Grand might have scared her off. Ah, yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's totally Eris, isn't it? That is totally Eris we are Jojo posing towards. The Tinkerer. Running. Recognize anyone else in the background? Don't think so. We'll save for now. And when we return... Who the fuck is Eris? What kind of wild fourth wall breaking powers does she have?